And now chapter 18 of the Antya Leela, Rescuing the Lord from the Sea.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasati Gaur-bhakta.
In the brilliant autumn moonlight, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu mistook the sea for the river Yamuna. Greatly afflicted by separation from Krishna, he ran and dove into the sea and remained unconscious in the water the entire night. In the morning, he was found by his personal devotees. May that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Shachi, protect us by his transcendental pastimes. All glories to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaitacharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. While thus living at Jagannath Puri, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu floated all day and night in an ocean of separation from Krishna. During a night of the autumn season, when a full moon brightened everything, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu wandered all night long with his devotees. He walked from garden to garden, seeing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and hearing and reciting songs and verses concerning the Ras Leela. He sang and danced in ecstatic love, and sometimes imitated the Ras dance in emotional ecstasy. He sometimes ran here and there in the madness of ecstasy, and sometimes fell and rolled on the ground. Sometimes he became completely unconscious. When he heard Svarup Damodar recite a verse concerning the Ras Leela, or he himself recited one, he would personally explain it as he had previously done. In this way, he explained the meaning of all the verses concerning the Ras Leela. Sometimes he would be very sad, and sometimes very happy. To explain fully all those verses and all the transformations that took place in the Lord's body would require a very large volume. So as not to increase the size of this book, I have not written about all the Lord's pastimes, for he performed them every moment of every day for 12 years. As I have previously indicated, I am describing the mad speeches and bodily transformations of the Lord only in brief. If Ananta, with his 1,000 hoods, tried to describe even one day's pastimes of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he would find them impossible to describe fully. If Ganesh, Lord Shiva's son and the expert scribe of the demigods, tried for millions of millenniums to fully describe one day of the Lord's pastimes, he would be unable to find their limit. Even Lord Krishna is struck with wonder at seeing the transformations of ecstasy in his devotees. If Krishna himself cannot estimate the limits of such emotions, how could others? Krishna himself cannot fully understand the conditions, the mode of progress, the happiness and unhappiness, and the moods of ecstatic love of his devotees. He therefore accepts the role of a devotee to taste these emotions fully. Ecstatic love of Krishna makes Krishna and his devotees dance, and it also dances personally. In this way, all three dance together in one place. One who wants to describe the transformations of ecstatic love of Krishna is like a dwarf trying to catch the moon in the sky. As the wind can carry away but a drop of the water of the ocean, a living entity can touch only a particle of the ocean of love of Krishna. Endless waves arise moment after moment in that ocean of love. How could an insignificant living entity estimate their limits? Only a person on the level of Svarup Damodar Goswami can fully know what Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tastes in his love for Krishna. When an ordinary living entity describes the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he purifies himself by touching one drop of that great ocean. Thus all the verses about the Ras Leela dance were recited. Then finally the verse concerning the pastimes in the water was recited as follows. As an independent leader among elephants enters the water with its female elephants, Krishna, who is transcendental to the Vedic principles of morality, entered the water of the Yamuna with the gopis. His chest had brushed against their breasts, crushing his flower garland and coloring it with red kumkum powder. Attracted by the fragrance of that garland, humming bumblebees followed Krishna like celestial beings of Gandharva Loka. In this way, Lord Krishna mitigated the fatigue of the Ras dance. While thus wandering near the temple of Vaitota, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly saw the sea. Brightened by the shining light of the moon, the high waves of the sea glittered like the waters of the river Yamuna. Mistaking the sea for the Yamuna, the Lord ran swiftly and jumped into the water, unseen by the others. Falling into the sea, he lost consciousness and could not understand where he was. Sometimes he sank beneath the waves, and sometimes he floated above them. The waves carried him here and there like a piece of dry wood. Who can understand this dramatic performance by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Keeping the Lord sometimes submerged and sometimes afloat, the waves carried him toward Konark Temple. Lord Krishna performed pastimes with the gopis in the waters of the Yamuna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully merged in those pastimes. Meanwhile, all the devotees, headed by Svarup Damodar, lost sight of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Astonished, they began searching for him, asking, "Where has the Lord gone?" Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had run off at the speed of mind. No one could see him. Thus everyone was puzzled as to his whereabouts. Has the Lord gone to the temple of Jagannath? Or has he fallen down in madness in some garden? Perhaps he went to the Gundicha temple, or to Lake Narendra, or to the Chatak Parvat. Maybe he went to the temple at Konark. Talking like this, the devotees wandered here and there, looking for the Lord. Finally, they came to the shore, accompanied by many others. While they were searching for the Lord, the night ended, and thus they all decided, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has now disappeared. In separation from the Lord, everyone felt as though he had lost his very life. They concluded that there must have been some mishap. They could not think of anything else. A relative or intimate friend is always fearful of some injury to his beloved. When they arrived at the seashore, they conferred among themselves. Then some of them sought out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Chatak Parvat. Svarup Damodar proceeded east with others, looking for the Lord on the beach or in the water. Everyone was overwhelmed with moroseness and almost unconscious, but out of ecstatic love they continued to wander here and there, searching for the Lord. Passing along the beach, they saw a fisherman approaching with his net over his shoulder. Laughing, crying, dancing, and singing, he kept repeating the holy name, Hari, Hari. Seeing the activities of the fisherman, everyone was astonished. Svarup Damodar Goswami therefore asked him for information. My dear fisherman, why are you behaving like this? Have you seen someone hereabouts? What is the cause of your behavior? Please tell us. The fisherman replied,
I have not seen a single person here, but while casting my net in the water, I captured a dead body. I lifted it with great care, thinking it to be a big fish. But as soon as I saw that it was a corpse, great fear arose in my mind. As I tried to release the net, I touched the body, and as soon as I touched it, a ghost entered my heart. I shivered in fear and shed tears. My voice faltered, and all the hairs on my body stood up. I do not know whether it was the ghost of a dead Brahmin or an ordinary man, but as soon as one looks upon it, it enters his body. The body of this ghost is very long, 5 to 7 cubits. Each of its arms and legs is as much as 3 cubits long. Its joints are all separated beneath the skin, which is completely slack. No one could see it and remain alive in his body. That ghost has taken the form of a corpse, but he keeps his eyes open. Sometimes he utters the sound, gong, 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 and sometimes he remains unconscious. I have seen that ghost directly, and he is haunting me. But if I die, who will take care of my wife and children? The ghost is certainly very difficult to talk about, but I'm going to find an exorcist and ask him if he can release me from it. I wander alone at night, killing fish in solitary places, but because I remember the hymn to Lord Nrsimha, ghosts, they do not touch me. But this ghost, he overcomes me with redoubled strength when I chant the Nrsimha mantra. When I even see the form of this ghost, great fear arises in my mind. Do not go near there. I forbid you, because if you go, that ghost will catch you all.
Hearing this, Svarup Damodar could understand the full truth of the matter. He spoke sweetly to the fisherman, saying, I am a famous exorcist, and I know how to rid you of this ghost. He then chanted some mantras and placed his hand on the top of the fisherman's head. He slapped the fisherman 3 times and said, Now the ghost has gone away. Do not be afraid. By saying this, he pacified the fisherman. The fisherman was affected by ecstatic love, and he was also fearful. He had thus become doubly agitated. Now that his fear had subsided, however, he had become somewhat normal. Svarup Damodar said to the fisherman, My dear sir, the person whom you are thinking a ghost is not actually a ghost, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of ecstatic love, the Lord fell into the sea, and you have caught him in your net and rescued him. Simply touching him has awakened your dormant love of Krishna. But because you thought him a ghost, you are very much afraid of him. Now that your fear is gone and your mind is peaceful, please show me where he is. The fisherman replied, I have seen the Lord many times, but this is not he. This body is very deformed. The Lord's body becomes transformed in his love of God. Sometimes the joints of his bones separate, and his body becomes very elongated. Hearing this, the fisherman was very happy. He brought all the devotees with him and showed them the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord was lying on the ground, his body elongated and bleached white by the water. He was covered from head to foot with sand. The Lord's body was stretched, and his skin was slack and hanging loose. To lift him and take him the long distance home would have been impossible. The devotees removed his wet undergarment and replaced it with a dry one. Then, laying the Lord on an outer cloth, they cleaned the sand from his body. They all performed Sankirtan, loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna into the Lord's ear. After some time, the sound of the holy name entered the ear of the Lord, who immediately got up, making a great noise. As soon as he got up, his bones assumed their proper places. With half external consciousness, the Lord looked here and there. The Lord remains in one of 3 different states of consciousness at all times. internal, external, and half-external. When the Lord is deeply absorbed in internal consciousness, but he nevertheless exhibits some external consciousness, devotees call his condition Ardha Bhaya, or half-external consciousness. In this half-external consciousness, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu talked like a madman. The devotees could distinctly hear him speaking to the sky. He said, "Seeing the river Yamuna, I went to Vrindavan. There I saw the son of Nanda Maharaj performing his sporting pastimes in the water. Lord Krishna was in the water of the Yamuna in the company of the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani. They were performing pastimes in a great sporting manner. I saw this pastime as I stood on the bank of the Yamuna in the company of the gopis. One gopi was showing some other gopis the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the water. All the gopis entrusted their silken garments and ornaments to the care of their friends, and then put on fine white cloth. Taking his beloved gopis with him, Lord Krishna bathed and performed very nice pastimes in the water of the Yamuna. My dear friends, just see Lord Krishna's sporting pastimes in the water. Krishna's restless palms resemble lotus flowers. He is just like a chief of mad elephants, and the gopis who accompany him are like she-elephants. The sporting pastimes in the water began, and everyone started splashing water back and forth. In the tumultuous showers of water, no one could be certain which party was winning and which was losing. The sporting water fight increased unlimitedly. The gopis, they were like steady streaks of lightning, and Krishna, he resembled a blackish cloud. The lightning began sprinkling water upon the cloud, and the cloud upon the lightning. Like thirsty chatak birds, the eyes of the gopis joyously drank the nectarian water from the cloud. As the fight began, they splashed water on one another. Then they fought hand to hand, then face to face, then chest to chest, teeth to teeth, and finally nail to nail. Thousands of hands splashed water, and the gopis saw Krishna with thousands of eyes. With thousands of legs, they came near him and kissed him. With thousands of faces, thousands of bodies embraced him. The gopis heard his joking words. With thousands of ears, Krishna forcibly swept Radharani away and took her into water up to her neck. Then he released her where the water was very deep. She grasped Krishna's neck, however, and floated on the water like a lotus flower plucked by the trunk of an elephant. Krishna expanded himself into as many forms as there were gopis, and then took away all the garments that covered them. The water of the river Yamuna was crystal clear, and Krishna saw the glittering bodies of the gopis in great happiness. The lotus stems were friends of the gopis, and therefore helped them by offering them lotus leaves. The lotuses pushed their large round leaves over the surface of the water with their hands, the waves of the Yamuna, to cover the gopis' bodies. Some gopis undid their hair and kept it in front of them as dresses to cover the lower portions of their bodies, and used their hands as bodices to cover their breasts. Then Krishna quarreled with Radharani, and all the gopis hid themselves in a cluster of white lotus flowers. They submerged their bodies up to their necks in the water. Only their faces floated above the surface, and the faces were indistinguishable from the lotuses. In the absence of the other gopis, Lord Krishna behaved with Srimati Radharani as freely as he desired. When the gopis began searching for Krishna, Srimati Radharani, being of very fine intelligence and thus knowing the situation of her friends, immediately mingled in their midst. Many white lotus flowers were floating in the water, and as many bluish lotus flowers came nearby. As they came close together, the white and blue lotuses collided and began fighting with one another. The gopis on the bank of the Yamuna watched with great amusement. When the raised breasts of the gopis, which resembled the globe-like bodies of chakravarka birds, emerged from the water in separate couples,
the bluish lotuses of Krishna's hands rose to cover them. The hands of the gopis, which resembled red lotus flowers, arose from the water in pairs to obstruct the bluish flowers. The blue lotuses tried to plunder the white Chakravaka birds, and the red lotuses tried to protect them. Thus there was a fight between the two. Blue and red lotus flowers are unconscious objects, whereas Chakravakas are conscious and alive. Nevertheless, in ecstatic love, the blue lotuses began to taste the Chakravakas. This is a reversal of their natural behavior, but in Lord Krishna's kingdom, such reversals are a principle of his pastimes. The blue lotuses are friends of the sun god, and though they all live together, the blue lotuses plunder the Chakravakas. The red lotuses, however, blossom at night and are therefore strangers or enemies to the Chakravakas. Yet in Krishna's pastimes, the red lotuses, which are the hands of the gopis, protect their Chakravaka breasts. This is a metaphor of contradiction. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu continued. In his pastimes, Krishna displayed two ornaments of hyperbole and reverse analogy. Tasting them brought gladness to my mind and fully satisfied my ears and eyes. After performing such wonderful pastimes, Lord Krishna got up on the shore of the Yamuna river, taking with him all his beloved gopis. Then the gopis on the river bank rendered service by massaging Krishna and the other gopis with scented oil and smearing paste of amalaki fruit on their bodies. Then they all bathed again, and after putting on dry clothing, they went to a small jeweled house, where the gopi vrinda arranged to dress them in forest clothing by decorating them with fragrant flowers, green leaves, and all kinds of other ornaments. In Vrindavan, the trees and creepers are wonderful because throughout the entire year they produce all kinds of fruits and flowers. The gopis and maidservants in the bowers of Vrindavan pick these fruits and flowers and bring them before Radha and Krishna. The gopis peeled all the fruits and placed them together on large plates on a platform in the jeweled cottage. They arranged the fruit in orderly rows for eating, and in front of it they made a place to sit. Among the fruits there were many varieties of coconut and mango, bananas, berries, jackfruits, dates, tangerines, oranges, blackberries, santaras, grapes, almonds, and all kinds of dried fruit. There were cantaloupes, shirikas, palm fruits, keshuras, water fruits, lotus fruits, bale, pilu, pomegranate, and many others. Some of them are variously known in different places, but in Vrindavan they are always available in so many thousands of varieties that no one can fully describe them. At home, Srimati Radharani had made various types of sweetmeats from milk and sugar, such as Gangajal, Amritakeli, Piyusagranti, Karpurakeli, Sarapuri, Amriti, Padmachini, and Kandakshira Saravriksha. She had then brought them all for Krishna. When Krishna saw the very nice arrangement of food, he happily sat down and had a forest picnic. Then after Srimati Radharani and her gopi friends partook of the remnants, Radha and Krishna lay down together in the jeweled house. Some of the gopis fanned Radha and Krishna, others massaged their feet, and some fed them betel leaves to chew. When Radha and Krishna fell asleep, all the other gopis also lay down. When I saw this, my mind was very happy. Suddenly, all of you created a great tumult and picked me up and brought me back here. Where now is the river Yamuna? Where is Vrindavan? Where are Krishna and the gopis? You have broken my happy dream. Speaking in this way,
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully returned to external consciousness. Seeing Svarup Damodar Goswami, the Lord questioned him, "Why have you brought me here?" Then Svarup Damodar answered him, saying, "You mistook the sea for the Yamuna river, and you jumped into it. You have been carried this far by the waves of the sea. This fisherman caught you in his net and rescued you from the water. Because of your touch, he is now mad with ecstatic love for Krishna. Throughout the night, we all walked about in search of you. After hearing from the fisherman, we came here and found you. While apparently unconscious, you witnessed the pastimes in Vrindavan, but when we saw you unconscious, we suffered great agony in our minds. When we chanted the holy name of Krishna, however, you came to semi-consciousness, and we have all been hearing you speak like a madman." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "In my dream I went to Vrindavan, where I saw Lord Krishna perform the Ras dance with all the gopis. After sporting in the water, Krishna enjoyed a picnic. I can understand that after seeing this, I must certainly have talked like a madman." Thereafter, Svarup Damodar Goswami had Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathe in the sea, and then he very happily brought him back home. Thus I have described the incident of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's falling into the ocean. Anyone who listens to this pastime will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Caitanya Caritamrta following in their footsteps. This ends chapter 18 of the Antya Leela, Rescuing the Lord from the Sea.